Today we are testing out the new DJI FLY update and a huge firmware update for the DJI Mini 3 Pro. This is over a gig in size. We've got a lot to get through, loads of different updates. Let's get straight into it. And first we're going to talk about an exciting feature, which is compatibility now with the Mavic 3. This is great, especially if you've got the RC. So all you want to do now is once you turn your Mavic 3 on, turn your controller on, you'll see you can now switch between the two aircrafts. These are what are compatible at the moment. Click on the Mavic 3, download a small firmware update, and then what you want to do is you just click camera view. If it doesn't automatically connect, go to control, relink, and then just pair the controller and the drone together. And after about a few seconds, I can now fully control the Mavic 3 with the DJI Mini 3 RC. And let me tell you, this is fantastic and also probably quite frustrating for some Mavic 3 owners with the smart controller. The smart controller is still better, that RC Pro, but having just one controller now to be able to use on the Mavic 3 and Mini 3 is fantastic. I love it. A fantastic update we all wanted. Only last week I mentioned about vertical mode not having focus track. We now do. A week later, this is here. It's incredible just how fast these firmware updates come along. So let's switch back to the Mini 3 Pro. And now what we have is in vertical mode, so fantastic for Reels and TikToks, you have access to focus track. This is incredible. So let's get the drone in the air and I'll show you how it works. So not only now do you have full access to the tracking in normal horizontal mode, now if we switch it to vertical mode, we have the full focus track capability on here. So if I drag a box around me, we can just look at spotlight first of all. This drone will keep me or whoever it is, or an object, a car or something, centered in the frame while you just move the drone around, and it's a fantastic perspective. Spotlight is awesome. You can also zoom in using your controller here. Just look here, you can zoom in and out. You have the full access, so nothing is limited. You have everything that you wanted before with any tracking capabilities. In vertical mode now, you also have it. Fantastic for Reels and TikToks, but it gets better. So vertical focus track also works. So what we can do now is we can click on active track. We've got trace and parallel just like before. Let's click on trace and then we'll click go. And as I walk away, the drone will just trace and follow me from either the front or from behind. And as you can see here, it does a decent job. Obviously, I'm only walking really slowly, but this can track you on several different objects, cars, bikes, and I'll show you that in a second. You can also zoom in and out just like before, and that quality is great. So if you're going to be using this for Reels and TikToks, now like before we had to crop in and lose quality, you don't have to. This is a full sensor readout. If we switch into parallel, we get this message now telling you that obstacle avoidance on the side sensors doesn't work because there isn't any, and in parallel mode it will track you from the side. Again, works brilliantly. But you can see it's quite close, but I can move the drone backwards. I have control on my controller, so I can send it back a little bit, and I can also increase that height as well, and it keeps that lock onto myself all the time. Absolutely brilliant. So I wanted to test this out for the last few days. I didn't want to rush this video out, so I've been testing it on several different vehicles and bikes to see how it works, and it works fantastic. So for Reels and TikToks, if you want to be using it for tracking, it works perfectly now, and I'm sure loads of people will be really happy with this, and I can't wait to see what you will create on Instagram Reels. I think this is a fantastic feature that we wanted. But it gets better. We now have quick shots also in vertical mode as well. So switch it into vertical again. If we go to quick shots, you now have full access kind of to the quick shots. And all of these work apart from one, which I'll talk to you about. So if we just go through now, just select one of them, you can either drag a box around yourself or it will automatically identify you or a car or something. Just drag that box, set your distance, and then don't forget to press start. As the drone will then go backwards, it will keep you locked and it will keep you centered as well. Now, not everybody uses vertical mode, I get it, but so many people love the social media aspects of these drones, and this is what's unique about this, being able to post it to social media. Everything works like Helix as well. You can set this and they keep you tracked in, so it's going to be so useful for a lot of people, this vertical mode. But obviously you've still got the exact same ones in horizontal as well. But I did say that it's almost all quick shots. So there is one that doesn't work, and this is asteroid. At the moment in vertical it doesn't work, so it'll, as soon as you hit that, it'll go back to the normal orientation. So asteroid doesn't work, but nevertheless. Okay, Cine Improvements. This is going to give you the best possible color in video. So I use Cine like all the time. I know you've got to be able to color grade, but it's part of the fun, isn't it? And also in normal video, the autofocus continuous has improved, so the video is a lot better. You don't have any focusing issues. But for Cine, like, it says it's improved in nighttime. I've not tested it fully at night yet, but for all the times I've been testing it in different locations, the Cine like color profile gives you the most opportunity to get the best possible color if you can learn the color grading. If not, keep it in normal. But in photos, this is a big improvement. In photos, obviously keep it JPEG and RAW, but the shutter responsiveness, so the ability to take a photo and then take another one, it's a lot snappier now. So the photos are a lot better. There's no lag or kind of a delay between taking one photo and then another. It's a lot quicker now, and this is great. So these are the normal RAW pictures, and then this is with my filters added on over the top. If you're interested, links down below. Let's look at Spotlight now for buildings. So I did it before on a person. Let's look at the buildings aspect. So this is fantastic for real estate. You can use it on buildings or cars, objects. This is awesome. So Spotlight works in normal and vertical mode now as well. So drag a box around something and the drone will do all the gimbal movements for you. All you've got to do is basically steer the drone. It will keep the object focused and centered all the time. That works perfectly in vertical mode. Let's just talk about the performance and also the settings. Some new things here you need to be made aware about. First of all, the overall performance in normal, cine and sport, everything works perfectly. There's no lag, there's no issues with it. It's great. The signal is also fantastic as well. So hopefully improvements if you had problems with your signal. Let's look at this now. In Spotlight mode, in vertical, it only goes up to 30 FPS in 4K. So you can't use 60 FPS. So if you switch it into 60 FPS, it will say focus track is not working. It doesn't work either in normal horizontal landscape either. So I was hoping we might have got that, but we didn't. Doesn't matter. Anyway, this is also great. This is new. So let's put the sensors on. So we're going to have it to bypass. In 4K 60, it will now bypass objects, go around them and avoid them. Before it wouldn't, it would just stop. So now in 4K 60, in both vertical and horizontal, you have the option now to fully use those sensors. As we fly towards this, it just avoids it and goes around it. I am so happy we've now got this update. This is massive. And then in hyperlapses, a lot of people like to use hyperlapses. You now have 2-second intervals. So before you didn't, the lowest you could go is 3 seconds. Now we've got 2 seconds. I can't wait to do some hyperlapses. I'm going to do a video on hyperlapses really soon. But for the 2 seconds, I know loads of people wanted that. And guess what? You've now got them. So fantastic. And let's look now at the settings. So there might be something new in the settings. So first of all, here, my settings were all completely reset almost. So go through these and check they're all fine. You disable sideways fly. I would turn that off. If you're brand new to drone flying, keep it on, but I like to have it turned off. Now, all my altitude, distance and return to homes were completely all over the bloody place. So I had to change them all again. Make sure yours are correct before you go off and fly. Okay, the next one is the update home point. I've talked about this before about not being able to update your home point without connecting to Wi-Fi. You now can click on this, and I'm not connected to Wi-Fi at the moment, but I was clicking on these buttons and nothing was really working. It would just say check network connection and try again. Do let me know please in the comments as this worked for any of you guys or not. I will talk about this towards the end of the video about how I got this working. But when your drone's in the air and you're not connected to Wi-Fi, if you're going to be updating your home point, like you're moving around, it doesn't seem to work like that without Wi-Fi still, but I'll show you how to get that working. Let's just go through the rest of these safety settings. Advanced safety settings are exactly the same. Make sure return to home has the default option there, your units, etc. Subject scanning, I keep this off, it just wastes battery, and you can just find a subject by just dragging the box around them. Everything else, advanced gimbal settings, they're all exactly the same as before, along with gimbal calibration. If your horizontal line isn't correct, you can just adjust this to make sure it's all nice and straight, and that's the same as before as well. Now we're going to go back to the settings here. I'm going to just show you this. So the stick mode, I use mode 2, but some customizations, I talked about this last week. They are the same as the last video I did. This is about how you can customize your buttons. Go and check the last video if you've not seen that. Color profiles, I have it in Cine H265. All these here I'm flying through for the benefit of this video length, but they're all exactly the same. So just go and check that if you have got these customized, that's how you want it. And USB mode, this is a new feature. So if you connect your drone to your computer to transfer files, in the past what it would do is keep the drone on and the image would also be on, but this just produces heat as well and battery life. So now what it does, it disables any image transmission to save the power so the drone doesn't overheat or get really hot, and also doesn't reduce and waste any battery life as well. So that will automatically turn that off if you connect your drone to your computer via USB. If you do, select that on. The transmission system settings are exactly the same. If you've been having issues with any signal, you can select it onto say 5.8 gigahertz if you're flying near houses and cities, but I can tend to keep mine just on dual band pretty much all the time. Alright, so I'll show you this now. So if you connect to your hotspot, to your Wi-Fi hotspot, so in this instance I'm using my phone, that's now connected. I can go back onto my drone, click that update home point, and now I can drag it around. So if I'm on a bike and I'm moving around, I can have my home point to be my controller in different locations. And finally, I just wanted to see if we did have dynamic return to home. So as the drone is returning back to us, can we change the orientation of the drone like we could on the Mini 2? Well, no. Certainly not yet. Anyway, if that comes, that would be awesome. If we can have that and we can have 4K 48, 50 or 60 FPS in tracking, this drone is just complete. It will be the only drone you need, but this is awesome, especially if that Mavic 3, being able to control it with the controller. It's a massive update. I highly recommend you go and do this. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I will be doing follow-ups on this as well. Any questions, let me know. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Have a good weekend.